Okay, let's dive right into this, shall we? Welcome everyone to the ultimate explainer bridging the incredibly rich lore of the solo leveling universe with the actionable, hard-hitting strategies you're gonna need for the Arise game. If you're here, well, it sounds like you're a fan of Sung Ji-moo's journey. Solo leveling really is a global phenomenon, and Arise does a fantastic job of letting players step directly into those shoes. Oh, real quick, to help you explore this world further, whether you want to compare the game to the manhwa or draft a lore guide, the best first step is to upload some sources in the panel on the left. You can add PDFs, links to articles, whatever you've got. If you don't have files handy, I can actually find some for you, using fast research to pull in the latest guides or deep research for a dive into its cultural impact. Once those are added, we can even generate a podcast audio overview or a detailed timeline. Anyway, today we are taking a highly structured look at both the epic narrative and the absolute best ways to dominate the in-game meta. So think of this agenda as your official quest log from the system. Today we're looking at 1. The solo leveling timeline. 2. Anime versus manhwa. 3. Rulers and monarchs. 4. Building the ultimate Jinwoo. 5. Top-tier Arise hunters. And 6. Best Shadow Army combos. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The solo leveling timeline. You know, Sung Jinwoo's evolution is literally the single anchor point in a universe that completely reshapes the timeline of the world itself. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer cosmic scale of Jinwoo's journey. Actually, tracking the timeline chronologically is incredibly difficult, because of all the time travel and endless eon-spanning wars. But if we trace it through Jinwoo's eyes, it starts with the pure nightmare fuel of Day 1 in the D-rank double dungeon. From there, we escalate to the Jeju Island ant crisis, which is where he truly steps onto the world stage. Then, the timeline gets absolutely wild. Jinwoo uses the Cup of Reincarnation to literally reverse time by 27 years. He spends decades in a dimensional rift, single-handedly fighting the monarchs just to save Earth. And then, decades after establishing that peace, we enter the era of solo-leveling Ragnarok, passing the torch to his son, Sung Suho, as the cosmic threats return. So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Jinwoo's progression via the system isn't just a cool leveling mechanic. It's actually the only true way to track the story's timeline. I mean, no actual dates are reliably given across the series. Instead, we have to measure time by how far Jinwoo has evolved, going from the world's weakest E-rank hunter to the immortal Shadow Monarch who is literally holding the fabric of reality together. Moving on to Section 2, Anime versus Manhwa. Let's transition to how this incredible story was adapted for the screen. Because while the anime stays incredibly true to the source material, it makes some brilliant, subtle tweaks. Notice how these minor visual changes completely shift the dramatic tension. In the manhwa, we don't even see the Jeju Island ants until much later, but the anime? They threw in a Jeju Island prologue right in episode 1. It immediately builds hype and establishes the terrifying stakes of this world. Inside the double dungeon, the anime actually has Kim Sang-shik push open the doors instead of team leader Song, which adds a totally different layer of guilt to the survivors. Plus, the anime shows Jinwoo entering with a knife that tragically snaps against a goblin, leading to a visceral stab wound. In the manhwa, he goes in completely unarmed simply because he couldn't afford weapons. So the anime visually exaggerates his weakness to make his eventual leveling up feel even more earned. Alright, Section 3, Rulers and Monarchs, shifting our focus to the cosmic threats of the series. To really understand the endgame, we gotta look at the eternal war that forced Jinwoo to level up in the first place. It all starts with the Absolute Being. This ancient creator designed two opposing forces, the rulers, representing light and order, and the monarchs, representing darkness and chaos. But here's the catch. They were designed to engage in an endless, destructive war simply for the Absolute Being's entertainment. Rough, right? Eventually, the rulers rebelled and killed their creator, which forced the monarchs to retreat and plan a brand new invasion strategy, using humans on Earth as vessels to contain their massive power. Here we have a breakdown of some of the absolute heaviest hitters. There's Baron, the king of demons, who Jinwoo fights in the demon castle, but look at the top two, Antares and Ashbourne. The crucial takeaway here is that these two were so overwhelmingly powerful, they initially couldn't even find human vessels strong enough to contain them without completely shattering. Antares just had to wait in his natural form, and Ashbourne, the first Shadow Monarch, had to specifically design the system alongside the architect to slowly level up a vessel. And that vessel, of course, was Sung Jinwoo. Will you accept the role of player? Man, that cold, objective prompt from the system in the double dungeon changed literally everything. And right now, we are going to make that exact same transition. We're moving from just absorbing the lore to becoming an active player in solo leveling Arise. Let's look at the meta. Section 4, Building the Ultimate Jinwoo. It's time to build the ultimate Jinwoo. We're taking his unstoppable power from the manhwa and translating it directly into optimal in-game stats for Arise. Okay, let's dive into this build. If you want to progress efficiently, you absolutely cannot spread your stats evenly. Step 1 is maximizing strength, which translates directly to your raw basic attack damage. Step 2 is heavily investing in perception to boost your precision. And step 3, this is the most important one, ignore vitality. Seriously, vitality increases HP and defense, but in Arise, just like in the lore, getting hit simply isn't an option. You need to master the extreme evasion mechanic. Perfect dodging totally negates the need for a high health pool, which frees up your points for pure, unadulterated damage. And this brings us to a magic number, 80%. When you're allocating your perception stats, you want to maintain your precision at an 80% limit. See, precision dictates the minimum damage you deal to enemies. Keeping this right at 80% ensures your damage output is consistently devastating, without wasting points that could be dumped right back into strength. You can easily check this percentage in your Total Power tab. All right, Section 5. Top-tier Arise Hunters. Of course, even a Shadow Monarch needs allies. Let's move to the hunters that will join your ranks and break down the absolute endgame meta for your supporting cast. The absolute golden rule of team building in Arise is right here. Elemental advantage completely dictates tier lists. It's a game changer. If you hit an enemy with a favorable elemental matchup, you get a massive 150% damage bonus. But if you attack into an unfavorable matchup, your damage drops off a cliff to a 50% penalty. This means a lower tier hunter with the right element will easily outdamage a top tier hunter with the wrong one. You have to build around the enemy's element first, always. But when elements do align, these are the SS tier dominators you want on your side. Tawata Kane is the fire element benchmark. When supported properly, she has the highest burst damage in the whole game. Thomas Andre, the light element powerhouse, is just incredibly self-sufficient. I mean, he tanks, he shields, and he deals massive damage without even needing a specific team around him. Minnie has set the absolute new ceiling for dark element teams with her ultimate-based carries. And Go Gun-hee is the premier lightbreaker, melting enemy breakages while remaining incredibly tanky. These are definitely your priority targets for Essence Stones. Section 6. Best Shadow Army Combos. Let's transition to the final, and let's be honest, the most iconic mechanic from the series, arising and commanding the Shadow Army. Before we talk strategy, the baseline rule is this: you must unlock every single shadow available, from tank all the way up to Kaizel. Even if you don't actively use them in combat, just having them unlocked in your army is the single biggest source of total power, or TP, for your account. It's actually not uncommon for shadows alone to provide well over 1 million TP. But when you step into the training room or a guild boss to optimize a 30 to 60 second burst window, the math tells a very specific story. For high defense and level 100 plus bosses, the undisputed best combo is Igris, Beste, and Serbi. For lower level, faster clears, you'll want to swap Igris for Baru, so you're running Baru, Beste, and Serbi. Oh, and an honorable mention goes to Iron, who applies a massive 12% defense down debuff. And here's a fun fact from rigorous community testing: Serbi is basically essential because he consistently provides a precise mathematical 5% damage boost to your total output. We've tracked the timeline, uncovered the cosmic lore of the absolute being, optimized your stats, and drafted the ultimate hunter and shadow teams. You have the knowledge. The system has given you the tools. What are you most interested in exploring about solo leveling right now? Would you like me to use fast research to find some updated guides and lore for you before you jump in? The only question left for you as you log into Arise is this: what kind of monarch will you become? Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.